Yo, peace, peace. This your man Black. Kicking that real shit, you know how it is. Today I'm gonna tell you about the 20 years I spent as a dead man. Not physically dead, but mentally and spiritually dead. You see, when I was a child, my mother, she told me the story of Jesus. And dig, I was born back in '65. So from watching TV those few years between whatever and 7 years old, and the few experiences that I had the world kind of mapped out a little bit. How the world treat people who look like us. So when my mother told me the story about Jesus, I was like, oh man, I mean, we got a black dude who's the son of God. That means that God is black. That's what I thought. I'm a kid, 7 years old. Time went by, and I went to school one day, and this young lady, she showed me a picture of this hippie looking dude. I looked at it, I said, who's that? She was like, that's Jesus. And I looked at my head, and I looked at it, I was like, Jesus? This is what I'm saying in my head, Jesus? I'm like, Jesus is white? And then me as a child, my mind went to a strange place. As a child, I said, we don't even have a God. That means the devil must be our God, and we're hellbound. So, for 20 years, I thought I was hellbound. From 7 to the age of 27, I thought I was hellbound. Sorry. Now, it was a series of events that tried to wake me up. My nephew, man, shout out Nate. One day he came and threw a Dr. Malachi Z. York book on me. And I'm hustling. This is in the 80s. Or, yeah, this was in the late 80s. And I looked at the book, you know what I'm saying, I read a little bit of it. And I passed it on. I left it, you know what I'm saying, I'm like, this ain't for me. So then, as time went by, a few more incidents started to occur, you know what I'm saying? I got a job. I ended up in North Carolina. And I got a job, man, and I was cool with everybody. Some of those guys, they were Klan members, and they let you know. And, so I figured, well, if you're a Klan member, you got your beliefs, whatever. So I'm like, you respect me, I respect you. It's just like that. Well, one day we got into a very minute altercation. And he kind of took it there. He called me a boy. And I said, man, what you call me? And this is in front of the supervisor and everything. He said, you heard me, boy. Huh. I look over at the supervisor. He ain't saying nothing. So I'm like, oh, well, fuck it. I'll let you get that off because I got to feed my family. I'm at work. But when I got home, I thought to myself, I said, man, what would make a guy be like this? You know what I'm saying? So I said, man, I got to study now. So I went and bought a book on psychology. And I bought a book on how the brain works. Now, you know what I'm saying? I'm fresh off the streets. You know what I'm saying? I'm back into the workforce. I don't know nothing about. I didn't know anything about, the knowledge that's going on right now. So I was just like, fuck it, let me figure out what's up with those. So anyway, those books there led me to the Nation of Islam because I'm like, cause that's not, I understand how the brain works now, but it doesn't tell me why this guy thinks the way he is. So I end up going to the Nation of Islam, studying that stuff. Years went by, I studied that. Then I realized that, man, this is another pimp game. This is really no different than the Christian church. just little different prayers or whatever, but it still was pretty much the same. So, a few more things happen, man, and I end up getting deeper into other knowledge. But Pete, this is what I'm trying to get at. I'm gonna tell you later on in life. I mean, in this other series of videos about how I got to this knowledge. Exactly. But right now, I'm just gonna talk about be careful and know your children before you expose them to religion. Because see, when I saw that picture of Jesus, I didn't go home and ask my mother because it was like, man, I don't know. She probably don't know. Maybe it just is what it is. We're going to hell. And I was a terrible person. I mean, terrible. And see, this is why it kind of pisses me off when I hear evil people talking about, Trayvon Martin, he was a thug, and Mike Brown, he was a thug. Man, the fact of the matter is that these boys are young. They haven't gotten a chance to really structure their lives. And, and it just so happens, that me, if somebody would have took me out at a young age, I would understand it. Because I was dangerous. I'm glad it didn't happen. But nevertheless, I was a dangerous person. You see, I didn't have any kind of moral compass. Because like I said, I thought I was hellbound, so there was no need for me to be a good person. And man, I've done things that, man, I would never be able to confess. You know what I'm saying? I did things that, man, I got to live with for the rest of my life. All because, of that image. Now, I ain't got nothing against Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Now that I've spiritually matured, I roll with Jesus now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, because I understand what the Christ means. I understand what the word Jesus means. You know what I'm saying? What it represents. So I can roll with that. So now I'm back in alignment with my family and all that stuff. My family is Christians. I guess you can consider me one. You know what I'm saying? But also at the same time, I claim my glory. And see, I understand why people are scared to call themselves God. Say, is it not written in your books that ye are gods and that ye are all children of the Most High? Claim that shit. But when you claim it, you better be willing to walk that way. This is a whole lot of responsibility. Once you claim your glory, now you got to take on the responsibility as a self-made God or as a God body. That means you got to watch what you think. That means you got to watch your deeds. I mean, you got to start looking at what you're putting in your body. It's a big old responsibility. And like I said, man, I understand why people don't want to do that. Because it's much easier to just say, I'm going to leave it in God's hands. So you cut yourself free. Yeah, I know some of y'all saw that. But anyway, you cut yourself free. You need to, you don't need to do anything. I'm just saying, take responsibility for yourself. And if you're going to claim your glory as being a God, make it look good. Don't be running around here like a bum and all crazy and talking all crazy and, you got to make it look good, man. You got to really make this look good, because if you make it look bad, then others are going to look at you and they be like, well, hell, if I got to look like that and be like that to have the knowledge, they're not going to want to do it. So you're doing a disservice. See, there's no sense in having a spiritual foundation and not have an economic foundation. The two run hand in hand. Because you made an agreement to come back to this planet and you have to exist on this physical plane. So with you existing on this physical plane, that means that there are certain needs that need to be met. So you might be in a situation, I know you call yourself a God, but you might have to go out and get you a job to keep from sinking. You see, the people out here call themselves gods, and they turn around and complain about Christians and Muslims and other religious people. I say you need to take notes. Because you got a Christian with simple fundamentals and he's winning. Some of them are winning out here with simple, very simple fundamentals. Treat people like I treat myself or how I like to be treated. Honor thy mother and thy father if they're honorable. It's simple. They live a simple life and they win it. You see, now you call yourself a god, but you're really just a goddamn fool most of the time. Some of these cats out here. Because they ain't got enough sense to take care of themselves. They don't have enough sense to build structure. Anyway, man, I just put that out there, man. You know, no big deal. I know this one here ain't quite hot. I'm kind of tired. You know what I'm saying? But I do promise you, I'm going to come back with some of them hood stories. And hopefully you can find a metaphysical understanding to the stories that I'm telling. Deuces.